Hey team, Nathan Watt from Watson and Watt. Today we're talking about, in my view, the most underrated report in your accounting system, in your business, and that is the balance sheet. There's lots of questions about, well, how much do I owe the tax office? How much do I owe in super? I never know what's coming up. All those answers are actually in your balance sheet. So it's a really interesting document. It tells you a lot of information about what's coming up, and it just doesn't get the attention it deserves. So let's quickly run through it and show you what the power it has. So balance sheet, what's it called that? Well, it comes to the accounting equation, which broadly is just assets minus liabilities equals your equity. And if you think about that, think about your house. You have a house worth $1 million, a $700,000 mortgage. Then obviously your equity is $300,000. And that concept is basically a balance sheet. And this can be applied against lots of different things. But in your business, it has lots of other different assets, obviously, including bank accounts and all that sort of stuff. So let's quickly have a look, run through it, and we'll show you how important it is. So first off, assets, what are they? Well, they're things you own, so cash in the bank. And they also have accounts receivable. So this is how many, this is your customers, so what do they owe you in aggregate? So you send out invoices they haven't yet paid you. This is how much you're owed. So if you want to know what that is, run a different report called the age receivable summary and pick up the phone or email, whatever it is, go and get some money off your customers, because that is your cash that you've already earned. So other things you'll find in here might be, property, plant and equipment, so office chairs, equipment, printers, all that sort of stuff. Is it really worth 15 grand? Probably not. It's the cost price and depreciated for accounting purposes. So that doesn't really give us too much information. Intangibles, this will be things like goodwill, might have bought a business, all that sort of stuff. So interesting, but not terribly useful in day-to-day world. Bonds, this will be rental bonds, stuff like that, guarantees. Loans, this is a big one. How much money have we pulled out of the company and not yet paid tax on, or the full rate of tax on? That's an interesting one there. So you click on that, find out what is all that, because that's an asset of the company and needs to come back in. This is where it gets really interesting down here in the liability section. So how much do you owe your suppliers? Well, if your bookkeeping's up to date and good quality, you'll know that you owe your suppliers this much money. If you want to know who that is, you click on another report called Age Payable Summary and you find out who it is and when they're due. GST, so how much is your BAS going to be? Well, you get these three numbers here: GST, PAYG, withholdings payable, and the income tax installment. That's how much you owe the tax office at any given time, provided your bookkeeping is up to date and correct. So you should never be surprised by a BAS, because you know what the amounts are going to be by looking in your balance sheet at any time. So this company has a small refund coming. It owes a bit of money in GST and a bit of money in PAYG withholding. Looks like they stopped accruing for annual leave, which is fine. Superannuation, how much is your super each quarter? Well, you have a look in your balance sheet at any given date and you can find out what super has been accrued for your employees but not yet paid. So you know what is coming up. Some accounting journals there, unearned income, don't worry about those too much. Accrued expenses, so there are things that have been taken up in the profit and loss statement but not yet paid or incurred. Loan to the bank, shareholders have lent some money. Now down here, this number here, current year earnings, that is your profit to date after tax, after all the wash up in your profit and loss statement. So a common question is, where did my profit go? It's not in my bank account. Well, the answer is it's been spent on your balance sheet. And more precisely in the movement on your balance sheet. So probably a topic for another video, but this is a really underrated report. Get to know your balance sheet, but with the proviso that you need to have good quality bookkeeping and it needs to be up to date. Running a report, running a balance sheet any day isn't going to be terribly useful if your bookkeeping's 3 months behind or a month behind, because the numbers that you're running will be incorrect. So you need to have your data in there. It needs to be timely and accurate. All the things that good accounting and bookkeeping should be. So if you're not investing in a good quality bookkeeper, you need to be making it a priority so that you can have these numbers and know with certainty what's coming up and what to pay for. So you can see we've got 44 grand coming in from our customers and we owe 27. We're going to be okay. If this was the other way around, with a 27 coming in from customers and 44 in payables, we're in a bit of trouble. How are we going to fund that? Well, we need to make more sales. So you need to get a good handle on this so that you can understand your cash flow, you can understand what's coming up, and make better business decisions. So my recommendation is get your bookkeeping up to date, keep it up to date, run your balance sheet regularly so you know, okay, my BAS is coming up in next month. What's it likely to be? Well, it's likely to be this. How much super do I owe? Well, it's going to be this. How much do we owe the bank? All that sort of stuff. These are the numbers that you need to know.